Good day, students. Today we're going to look at another in the series of solutions to problems in your Math 1025 booklets. This is on page 72. Let me just jot that down. This is page 72, and this deals with simplifying complex fractions. Now, as you can see, we have a fraction over a fraction, right? So that's why it's called complex. It's really three fractions. It's the numerator, which is a fraction, the denominator, which is a fraction, and the whole thing, which is a fraction, right? So, again, depending on your preference, some people like to keep it in this format. Other people would switch it. So 2 1/2 times 1 5/6, and then that would be divided by, because this line here acts as a division symbol, right? Same thing, divide by 1/6 plus 2/3. Now, do it inside of each bracket. So the first one, we have two mixed fractions multiplying. Now, mixed fractions, best way to do these is change to improper. Remember how to do that. 2 times 2 here, plus the 1 on top, would give you 5/2. And multiply that by 6 times 1 plus the 5. 6 ones are 6 plus 5, that's 11/6. Now, we are multiplying, so within this bracket we can cross cancel if possible. And it doesn't look like anything. 2 doesn't go into 5 or 11, right? Evenly. 6, no, nothing there. So we multiply those to get 5 times 11. And that's 55 over 2 times 6, which is 12, okay? So the first one has simplified to a single fraction, and that's your objective if you can. And again, when multiplying, remember, it's numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator, right? That's how I got the 55/12. And we're going to divide that by, now, another fraction. Over here we're adding 2. And one of the ways to do that is lowest common denominator. So ask yourself, when adding fractions, what's the least common denominator between 3 and 6? What number can both divide into evenly? And that number would be 6. So the LCD here is 6, okay? Between 6 and 3. That means I have to change them both to 6. Now, if I change the first one, no change required. It's already 6. But this one, in order to change this one, I have to multiply it by 2 on top and 2 on bottom, right? Whatever I do to the top, I must do to the bottom to maintain the equality, right? So 3 times 2 will give me 6 on bottom, and 2 times 2 on top will give me 4. Okay? So that gives us then divided by the expression, now we can add 5/6. And of course now we can simply do what? When you divide by a fraction, what's the next phase? Multiply by the reciprocal, right? So we change this to times 6/5. And again, anytime you're multiplying, you can treat it as one big fraction, so you can cross cancel. I see 5 goes into 5 once here, and 5 goes into 55, doesn't it? So there are 11 times. So I write it like this. Whoops. I write it like this. I can say 5 into 5 once, 5 to 55 11 times. 6 goes into 6 once, 6 goes into 12 2 times. And then multiplying across, I get a final answer of 11 times 1, which is 11, 2 times 1, which is 2. And I can change it back then to a mixed numeral, which is 5 1/2. So there's our final answer, 11/2 or 5 1/2. Now again, these can be checked on the calculator, but remember, on part 2 questions you're going to have to show your work, so you're going to have to know these steps, okay? However, you can verify that on the calculator, so let's run through that very quickly. Now, to get to the calculator window, or the fraction window on your calculator, the alpha button, the green button, and y equals. and you'll see 4 options. First one is what we call proper or improper form. Second form is mixed numeral. Third one changes from improper or to mixed, and the fourth one changed from a fraction to a decimal. So what we want is the first one, or the second one, 2.5. So we'll enter. Now we need a bracket before that, so I'm going to see if I can get a bracket before that first. So let me clear that. See, I need a bracket. Now what I'm doing now is putting brackets around the top. So when you enter this in the calculator, you have to put a bracket around the top like this, and a bracket around the bottom like that. Okay, so I'm going to put in my bracket first. Then I'm going to go back to alpha, fraction window, and go to number 2. And I have 2. Now use your arrow buttons to move around throughout the fraction positions. And 2, arrow again over. Now this is multiply, so times. And again it's a mix, so alpha, go to F1 there, down to mixed, which is number 2. And I got 1 over to 5 and 6. Now if you don't have that window on your calculator and you need to update your software, your teacher can do that for you. Close your bracket, and then we're going to divide that by another big fraction on the bottom. So open a bracket again. Now this time it's just a proper fraction, so we'll take the first one. So alpha F1. Now the first one is a proper fraction, so just 1 divided by 6. Whoops. See, when you got to use your arrows to go back and forth, and I didn't use my arrow to go down to the bottom. See what happens? So make sure you arrow down to the bottom position. 6, and arrow over to put in your plus sign. And then again, alpha, enter, and we have 2 divided by, oh, see I did it again. Go back, delete, move down to the bottom, 3. Close your bracket, okay, and enter. Now gave it to you as a improper, and that's often good enough. Some people want you to go back to the mixed, but that's a simple form of it, so that's quite acceptable. If you do want to change it back to mixed, alpha F1 number 3 will change from improper to mixed, and there's 5.5. Okay, so there's a complete solution for exercise D on page 72 of your first workbook. That's it for now.